Hello friends, welcome to a new session and the last session in the common coding of the Scratch. So till this we have seen almost different kind of controls to use in the coding. Now in this session we'll see how to create these controls by your own, how to create this programming statement by your own. So we are going to see the my blocks now, your defined blocks now. In general programming we call them as a function. With the help of this kind of functions, it's possible to create your own ideas and your own functions over here. Let's see how to create this. Let's go for the last coding part here. It's called as the my blocks. Here we can see nothing is present, but you can create the ideas from your own by clicking on the make a block. With the help of that, you can create your own block as expected or as required. So let's have an idea. For example, I want to create a statement by which, by clicking on that particular statement, the size of my sprite will grow, or I'll create one more statement by which the size of my sprite will reduce by some percentages or by some values. So let's see how to create such kind of the statements here. Okay, so I'll just click on the make a block option here, click on that. Now see, the block name will appear, that we call as a name of a function also. Okay, so let's use a function name like fade in. Okay, fade in I have given the name. Along with that we can specify this also in the second part of this session. I'll show how to use this controls here. So I'll just given the fade in and okay. Now you can check it out, it's defining it, define fade in. So it's defining your own block. With the help of this particular own block, you can identify the statement you require to add inside it. Now see, as I told, I want to create this statement. Okay, this statement is created here, but actions are not provided. What action will do? Will increase the size of the sprite by some amount of time. Okay, so for example, let's add some increment part here. I'll just change the size here. Okay, change the size by 10. Okay, I'll change the size by 10. Then after that, okay, so we'll do this operation for repetitive number of times, like repeat 10 number of times. Okay, okay, change the size by 5 here, 10 number of times will do, and add it here function. So let's go here. Fine. So now my function is defined. I am repeating this step of changing the size by 5, okay, 10 number of times here. Fine, like this, and now this statement is ready for me to use. Let's see, when I click on that, see the function or my block that you create is getting executed, fading. See, it's changing the size by 5 and 10 number of time it is repeating there again, like this. In this way, this is how the user defined, your defined statement we can create. Similar to that, I want to create an inverse statement, like it will reduce the size of this sprite by your specific values there. Then how to do? I'll just create one more block, create and give a name to it as fade out. Okay, fade out. Fine. Okay. Now see, it's defining here, fade out is available, and in this case I just want to decrease the size by -5. Then only the size will get decreased. So what I'll do, just right click on this repeat block, duplicate it and put it here. Okay, and here in this case I'll keep the value negative. Fine, fade out. So here it's incrementing the value by 5, this is decrementing the value by 5. Fade in, okay, it's incrementing, and fade out is decrementing. So let's go for fade out. Fine. Now when I click on fade out, you can check it, this is executing now. Function which you specified is executing and decrementing the size by 5. Again fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out, like this. So I can create your own ideas, your own programming statements which are not already present in the Scratch in this way by creating your own blocks. But there are several controls that you have observed, like if you go to motions, you can see these variables are editable. You can just edit these values. You can put the variables also there. You can use some values there. Almost everywhere they are present. See this one. Okay. This is without variable which we have created here, without variable, without nothing input, no inputs are there. Here also, here this input is present. Now if I want to create such kind of controls, like I don't want these two functions, I will take these values, this 10 and 5, inside this statement itself. So it will decide it. It will decide whether you have to increment or decrement, or how many number of time you have to repeat this particular step. These values will take inside this statement itself. Okay, so this statement can also be created and perform well with the help of this scratch here. So before going to that particular point, I'll just delete all these statements. Okay, I'll delete all these blocks, and let's create a statement which will contain the values present inside it. So let's go for make a block, and now fade value. Okay, so in front of this fade value, I need to specify two things like repeat and number of times. Repeat and the number of times. So after fade value, I'll add an input. Okay, so here for example repeat. So repeat. Okay, repeat, and then add a label by, again add an input by number of times. Okay, now see, fade value repeat by number of times. Okay, you can add the control condition also, but currently we don't require that. Now you can observe this which is created over here, fade value this by this. So repeat we can use in the code, and times also we can use in the code. Now let's see how to do this one. Let's go for control and make use of a repeat option here. Okay, and let's go to the looks and change the size by 10. Okay, now let's see this. I want to repeat this for repeat number of times, correct? So let's take this repeat from here and put it here. Let's take this times from here and put it here. Okay, so repeat this repeat number of times and change the size by this value. Got that? Let's see how to do this. Let's take this again here. Okay, so I want to change the size of the sprite. Okay, so for example fade value repeat, I want to repeat this step how many number of times? For example 10 times, and by what? By 5. Okay, now let's click on that. Now it's given 10 times, it's incrementing by 5. Okay, similar to that I'll just make it minus, now minus 5. Okay, so it's changing the size by minus 5 10 times, but okay, now see it's decrementing there. So same function is doing the respective task of incrementing and decrementing also. Why? Because I have taken this value from the user or from myself. My programmer is giving this value. In this way, this particular blocks, user defined blocks are possible. Any idea, if you think that it's not already present in the sprite or in the programming statements of the scratch, so you can create such a blocks by your own. You can take such values from the user like this, and accordingly that you can apply the functions which are mentioned over here on the respective sprite there. So it will be easy for us to add such kind of the statements in the coding also. Okay, so if you have any idea, so you can implement that and make use of the my block to create your own user defined programming statements here. Okay, so just try that. Thank you. Thanks a lot.